Hello everyone, this is Jennie with Absolutely Handmade, and you know what today is? It was the winter release for IOD, and I'm super excited for you guys to see the products as well as a couple of crafts that I was able to whip up after my Disney trip for you guys to see. So let's take just a few minutes to go over I actually have last year's products too still in stock, so I'm going to just quickly go through those. And if you guys are looking for anything, I have a limited amount left, as well as a new laser engraved product that I've come out with for the Christmas season. Hopefully you guys love it, and let's jump into it. First, from last year, we've got Santa's Sleigh. Then we have Autumn Cottage. Next up is Angelic Tapers. These things are awesome. The next one is Bibelots. Cute ornaments. The next is Christmas Tapers. Then we have Crimson Velvet, and I've got quite a few of those left. Then we have Kitschy Christmas. This one's super cute. You guys saw me do quite a few crafts with that one last year. Next would be the Gilded Transfer Tinsel. Hard to read in the light, sorry. It's got the really pretty gold foil music stuff. Vintage Snowflakes is up next. That one's a good staple. Frosty Sweet Shop. This one was really cute. Y'all can see the red ink still left on mine. I have used this one quite a few times. And last of the stamps is Classical Christmas. This one's really pretty with all the little fleurs, and actually this would have come in handy tonight with one of the ones I was working on. Then we've got the Gloria paint inlay. This one's got some really pretty stuff. You guys have seen most recently a lot of people using that Harvest. I've seen that come up quite a few times recently. Now, the next thing we're going to go over are the new products I've come out with. So this is a 14 by 9 oval. The whole frame is 14 by 9. The opening is going to be 10.5 by 6. It's plenty of room for you to do stuff. That one has a really wide outside edge. That's what I was showing right there, where you can put trimming, which you'll see here in a little bit. This is a 3-piece set that's kind of a step down, similar to the arched set that I sell. You can remove that middle section if you want to and use it for something else if you need a bigger opening. The last option is kind of the reverse of the first. It's got the thinner piece on the outside edge with the inside where you could put like a trimmings mold. And you guys will see me do that here in just a little bit. Again, you can take that center section out and just have a big oval frame if you need it as well. I think those are really pretty. They can be dressed up or down really, really well. Then I've got the oval plaques. I've just got 2 different sizes of those. And these are all listed on my Etsy shop. I'm going to have them on my website as well for you guys to purchase. And I'll have all of the dimensions on these because I don't have the dimensions written down for these 2 sets. Now, for the new stuff. First is going to be Saint Nick. This is an amazing 3/4 inch deep bust of Santa Claus. Super cute. Look at all the details. His beard is amazing. His hat is exquisite. I love all the little details that the sisters put into their molds. Next is Victoriana. This one's got very small, cute little castings that can be used for adding onto this or, a splash of that. Whatever it is you're looking for, they've got something on this mold that'll kind of fill in the gaps. You guys will see me use these in the next couple weeks. I'm going to do like a series with the There's the bibelots too. We had bibelots do so well last year, and I love that bell. I can't wait to get into the bell. It's one of my favorites. And honestly, it could be turned upside down and be like a really pretty like vase too. So you guys don't forget, you can think out of the box with these molds. Those heart ones are going to be pretty for Valentine's. Leave off the little hanger piece and there'll be a Valentine heart. And they're symmetrical, so you can flip them and mirror them and put them together. The next one is winter forage. This one's got really pretty, it kind of reminds me of one of the older molds. And guys, I'm not well versed on the names of the older molds. I own them, but I don't necessarily know all their names. But that one has some of the same. And then this one is exquisite. They've smoothed out that inside of that snow globe so that when you cast that, there's not going to be anything in there. There's no texture or anything like there was at bibelots or with the cloches. It's meant to be flat so that you can cast it with clear resin and it'll leave a really pretty, look at all the little bitty things. You can take those little ones and cast those and put them inside the snow globes. So that's kind of the idea there, is to be able to like put something inside of the snow globe. So we'll do that in the next couple of weeks. All right, for the first stamp, we've got Autumn Blessings. This one's pretty. I love the pumpkin. It's really pretty. And I love the two different turkeys. And it's always nice to have things like the wheats, just to give us something to fill in some empty space on our projects. And that little basket is so cute. Love it. Next one is Sugar Plum. And you guessed it, this one's after the Nutcracker. You guys can see the Sugar Plum fairies there. There's a ballerina. There's the little girl. The Rat King is in here making a debut. And that cool Christmas tree with the presents underneath it is really pretty, as well as two different Nutcrackers. So you can flank things. You could set them up like one right after the other and do like a set of 4 or 6, or, you know, if you're into odds numbers, then switch them out. But you don't have to have them right up next to each other is what I was getting at. Christmas Wishes gives you a plain looking tree, which is kind of nice to have. We had that similar last year with Winter Forest, which sold out. No one has that one. So I love the little reindeer, and the Santa Clauses are amazing. That Santa Claus right there reminds me of an older Santa Claus, but he's a smaller version of that Santa Claus. So a little bit more freedom to do some fun stuff. This Christmas post is the one you guys have seen in the teasers with the postcards. I love that Santa Claus with the reindeer rolling around. I may have to actually make some postcards this year and do those for my family holiday cards instead of doing my typical, here's this kind of thing. But I love the little frames. The frames are separate from the little girls on the inset and the wording on the inset. So you can use those frames around other things. It doesn't just have to be the Christmas. Next is Holly and Pine. Gives us more options for doing some of the winter botanical type settings. If you want to do like a Christmas setup, there's some holly. You've got a tree. Again, this is another plain tree. So similar to Winter Forest, that one's a really pretty tree. Then we've got the transfers, which I know you guys have all been waiting for. They're all 12 by 8. This one is Partridge Lane. Partridge in a Pear Tree, guys. This is the theme. So 12 Days of Christmas. It's got the houses set up, so you could put those in something like a base. And then it's got the individual houses, the little church, the goose, or the swan. Sorry, it's a swan, not a goose. There's some trees all lined up. And remember, guys, these things are buildable. You also can take them apart if you need to deconstruct those little parts inside of those rings. You could cut out the little rings, or you could cut out, you know, whatever. You can pull them apart. All right, so Winter Botanist. It's got some pretty florals, and I mean, not florals. It's more like Christmas trees, holly leaves, pine cones, berries. It's just really pretty. I love the little labels too. They're super cool. That one kind of looks like a good frame for a wreath. Love the labels. More labels. And you've got several of these packs have got words. So you're going to see like the months, October, December. I think they go back as maybe as far as September. Guys, Clementine. I love this one. This is not just Christmas. You have to get this one. Maybe get 2. This is a year-round transfer pack. It's got oranges. It's got the little, y'all know I don't know flowers. That looks like some kind of cabbage flower to me. I don't know what that is. The pears. I don't know. I'm not a florist. I don't pretend to be one. There's butterflies in this one. Just all kinds of pretty flowers for Christmas time. And it's buildable. So similar to Menagerie, you can build it up. This one is Santa's Hollow. Santa has got to have a place to kind of slink back to when he's done or prepare, right? So this is kind of what we would think be indicative of his space. He's got really pretty florals in there. He's got some holly. Very pretty Santa. And that little banner you could like stamp something into. Guys, I don't know if you saw that little close looking thing on the page before. You could put another little something on the inside. That wreath, something on the inside. There's another one with the something on the inside. There's your words, October. Another one where you can stamp something with the apothecary. It's not apothecary labels. Yeah. Okay, so then this one is going to be Christmas Joy. Christmas Joy has all kinds of pretty little knick-knacky things. It's got more of a whimsical look to it. The pictures are not, you might see them up close a little bit better, but they're not super crisp, which I like. They've kind of got a watercolor look to them, like they've been painted or splotched on. It's just really pretty the way it's done. It's got a very vintage feel to it. Figgy and Flourish is something that we thought you guys might really enjoy. It's got gold and silver this year. So for those of you who aren't into the gold, which is normally me, but for some reason lately for Christmas, I really enjoyed the gold for Christmas. It gives you a gold and it gives you a silver. So you have the option to go in. Those letters can be used for monograms. It's got pretty labels if you want to. I have some wine bottles I like to decorate with for Christmas that are painted, and those would look really pretty with those labels on there. This is 12th Night. It's got a gorgeous Santa, which you're going to see here in just a minute. We're going to flip through. I love the stags or the reindeer. That one says Trust in the Lord, so that is not a Christmas thing. You can use that year-round. I like the fact that we're getting a winter release, but it's not necessarily Christmas release. Like there are things in this pack, in these, things, in these items that you can use year-round. I mean, obviously there's Christmas stuff, but like you could cut those deer out and they could be just used for winter. It doesn't have to be for Christmas. And again, with the stag, same thing. Winter, not Christmas. But you're going to see, I'm trying to give you, like, you flip them over, they're mirrored, so it's hard to tell what you're looking at. Look how big that Santa is. This is a 12 by 16 pack, so he's huge. I mean, he took up 3/4 of that page. He's probably close to 12 by 10 by 12, something like that. And then again, just really pretty filigrees and things you can just put on something to make it look pretty. The last one is going to be La Folie. This one, I see the Christmas colors. I see the reds and I see the greens, but it's a lot of flowers and it's a lot of swags. Now you have the little deer or the stags. That's kind of cool to see. But I mean, that swag could be used into spring. It's not necessarily a Christmas thing. You can use this year round. So there you go with a border. The sisters love to give us some borders to play with. This one's got some little emblems inside of some wreaths. There's a little bit of a Christmas tree. That one's more Christmassy. But there's definitely a nice variety in these packs. So you don't necessarily feel like they have to be. That little statement right there said Paris. So not necessarily Christmas. More of the swags and the florals. A couple of trees thrown in the mix. But those things could be used for anything. Like, you don't have to use this for Christmas. So don't feel like the bulk of this release is something you have to buy just for Christmas and you have to use it by December. Like, look at that. Wouldn't that be beautiful for Valentine's Day too? I could see this going so much further. So now we're going to step into the crafts. I have had these wooden spoons laying around. I have watched Jamie Ray do spoon bouquets many, many, many times. And I always think they're so cute and I've never been able to find the time to do any. So I thought, this little La Folie is perfect. It's got some perfect little small, you see there, I cut out the little bird. Now I'm cutting out one of the flowers, mostly red. I just kind of went through all the pages and picked out just different smalls that'll fit inside those spoons. I thought they were really cute. This one I went ahead and got the one that's got the little bit of like a teardrop dropping down from the flower. And we're going to use all of these. I didn't want to use a Christmas color, so we're using Americana, the cottage color from Americana, also Jamie Ray. Love her paints. Oh, I love the color variety. I think it's kind of cool. And guys, I stirred this and started earlier, like 5 minutes before I opened it up. I was trying to test colors, so that's why you didn't see me stir it there. If you're using cottage colors, they recommend you stir them upside down, and they also recommend you stir, like a long time, until you see everything be consistent. Because with that, having that, top coat built in, the paint tends to separate when it sits. So you want to make sure you stir it very well. Okay, so first coat, I ended up putting 2 coats, and then my camera shut off like it likes to do. That is the Fusion Matte Tough Coat. We are using that as our paint transfer medium. You guys know I love to use that. I don't have painty lines with the paint edges of the graphics from the paint inlays. I don't have paint left on my transfers. I can use them later. I just really like using the clear coat. I think it does the best for transfer purposes. Now, you guys know, if you watched the video last week, I was out of town this weekend. My IOD new stuff came in on Thursday. I left Thursday night. I take that back. It came in Wednesday, late. And then Thursday we were packing and getting the kids ready to go. There you go. When it's dry and when it's wet, that's what it should look like. Light on one side. Now you see they're all light. Anyways, so I was trying to throw these together for you guys. I stayed up till 2 o'clock in the morning. Monday night. Release was Tuesday morning. I'm doing the best I can all day today, Tuesday. So my transfer did not do very well. I don't think I gave it enough time to dry. I think I dried it too quickly and was in a rush, so I tried to slow down a little bit with the rest of the crafts. I don't mind it because I do want them to look aged. You can see there I've got a sanding pad, and my intention was to sand them when I got through transferring the ink. But honestly, the ink transferred perfectly to look aged and antiqued already, so I didn't bother. Now here's that sealer that I've made with the Fusion Matte, half and half. I just spritz it on the paint inlays, and honestly it came out of the spritzer kind of thick, so then I went back and kind of dabbed it. Don't brush your paint inlays. Please don't, because it'll ruin it. It'll streak the paint. I mean, if that's what you want, that's fine, but just know if you wipe that instead of blotting it the way I'm doing it, you're going to streak the paint. It is actual paint you're peeling off of that carrier sheet. So I go in and I just kind of dab them, give them an initial top coat. That's just a little bit to seal it. And then we go back with actual matte top coat and like seal them in. And the only thing I needed to seal here was just the paint inlays because that paint has a top coat in it. So we don't have to seal the rest of the spoons. But aren't they cute? Like, yes, it could be Christmas. It's got a little bit of a blue-green color to the spoons. But these could be used year-round. You could leave these out. Nobody's going to look at them and say, oh, you left your Christmas decor up. So that's what I like about some of the things that I like to do. I want them to look like they could be integrated for Christmas, but I don't want them to scream Christmas every time. So next is this gorgeous St. Nick mold that I know you guys are just dying to see us do stuff with. And I've got a couple of ideas for him. So this is the first time we'll do him. And then we will have other times that we will use him later. You guys know I love doing the patina and stuff like that too. So we're definitely going to try a patina option. And I don't know. We'll see what else we can come up with. Thought he'd be fun. I have gotten to where I don't like to use the cups and like measure out and make sure it's half and half, that kind of thing. Each of the IOD molds has on them the amount of fluids it's going to take to put them together, or the amount of medium. So I've gotten to where I just plot my scale that I use. I actually use this for shipping most of the time. But I go ahead and weigh them and make sure they're the same weight-wise. I think this one one was 75. I was measuring it in grams. The other one was 76. The mold took 154, 155, somewhere around in there. So we're right in the vicinity of where we need to be. I didn't mind if it came out a little shallow, and for whatever reason, it still ended up being a little too much. So we were able to spill over and do a holly piece at the bottom. Now I have started pouring in part B first, the yellow, because I find that I get less bubbles. So maybe try that, and then stir in the same direction. Try not to switch the direction you're stirring, because you will create bubbles in your epoxy. So now we're stirring. Guys, I don't stir this fast. This video is, sped up for recording purposes or for video purposes. I don't want you guys having to sit here all day long. So I want to show you what I want to show you, but I don't want it to take forever. So this has been sped up 2.5 speed. So 2.5 times regular speed. I left the camera on so you could see it. But you'll see I spritzed a little alcohol on it to get rid of the bubbles, and it immediately started to solidify. And this is just the beginning of it. It can take up to 10 or 15 minutes for it to completely set up. And I do recommend leaving it out like that, because sometimes if you pull the mold out too soon, it can be kind of tacky on the other side. That was me testing to make sure it was actually hardening up. And it is hot. I will tell y'all just a warning, because my dad has been using epoxy my whole life. He makes knives for a living, like hunting knives, things like that. And I've watched him use epoxy forever. That epoxy gets hot, like hot, burns your finger to the touch. So when you guys are making this, you'll see I have the cup sitting off to the left. I always take whatever garbage I have from my epoxy, if I've wiped something out or whatever, and the cup that I've mixed it in, and I put it all out and I leave it sitting out. Do not throw that in your garbage can unless you want potentially to have a fire in the garbage, because it can happen. It gets so hot it can combust in your garbage can. So just be safe. Now we're using air dry clay with trimmings 1. Y'all saw me draw around that extra rim that's going to go on top of the oval, because I wanted to see exactly where my trim molding can go. And I do not want to completely fill up that edge. You can. This would be a perfect mold, or a perfect frame. We're going to use cornstarch so it releases. But it would be a perfect frame for you to do a wider mold and have it take up the whole piece, butt it up to that inside frame, or even just put up a wide piece all the way around that edge and leave off the little rim too. That would be another option. So it's very versatile. Like, I wanted you guys to be able to mix and match and do what you wanted to do with those frames. So ta-da, that's what I came up with. And if you guys have any suggestions on other frames you'd like to see, put it in the description box below, because I get in there and I create things, but sometimes I'm like, I don't know what exactly people are looking for. We have the arch frame that's in pieces, so you can take it apart and do similar, paint it in pieces, glue it together when you're done, add trimmings, whatever you need to do. I've done like an oval with just a simple frame around the outside edge. So I thought about doing a square one or a rectangular one that's a step down. Is that something you guys would be interested in? If it is, can you comment below and let me know kind of what you might want to see, or if there's another shape you'd like to see. I know we did the shields too. The shields are gorgeous. Actually, the shield would be really pretty with St. Nick. Okay. Something to think about for sure. All right. So you're watching me. I'm not a fantastic mold maker, guys, when it comes to the air dry clay. I don't mind it. I feel like I'm really slow putting them together. If y'all want to watch somebody do really well with their air dry clay, go and watch Erin at Provincial Farmhouse. She's amazing with air dry clay. I've never seen anybody layer air dry clay and molds like she does. It's beautiful when she's finished. I'm a little bit more simplistic. I try. We will try to, expand beyond the box this season. We got lots of time. It's only August. Lots of time. I'm glad the release came out because I know a lot of crafters have their fall. I mean, if you're a crafter, leave me a message below. Are you getting ready for your fall shows? Like, what are you making? What do you normally make? What kind of shows do you do? I'm always interested to hear what other people are doing around the United States and even further. If you're international, I'd love to hear if you're doing stuff. I think that's super cool. But see, isn't this going to be pretty? Like, I've got the edge on there, so I know where I can go as far as, you know, how far in that piece of trim can go. And now we're using the Type Bond Quick and Thick. I didn't show you the label this time, but y'all have seen me use it a dozen times or more. Spreading it on very thin. I don't put a whole ton of this on there because I feel like it really has a lot of squeeze out if you put it too thick. So I left it pretty thin. Wiping my finger off because I don't want my fingers nasty. That glue, guys, leaves like super duper thick crud on your fingers if you leave it on there for any length of time. So now I'm just laying it on there. I'm doing the path of least resistance to begin with. I was a little nervous about doing the ends where the trim or where the circle is more tight. But y'all see, it turned out beautiful. It took 3 and a piece. Now we're going to use Fusion's Coal Black, which has the primer, the paint, and the top coat all built in. So similar to the cottage colors. We're going to paint that backing. I wanted a nice thick coat. I ended up doing, you know it, 2 coats. I'm a 2-coat girl. Dried it with the hairdryer so we can move on. Then we're going to use the Loctite super glue. And we're going to put on that little extra rim on the inside before we continue. Y'all know I fought for my stuff to stick occasionally, so I made sure to use a full bead of that around the outside edge, not just dots. I've done dots in the past and it does hold, but after having a couple of rounds, guys, it held too fast. I was still kind of lining it up and I was like, oh, bummer. There was a little piece that was sticking further out. I'm very anal retentive about that being perfect. It doesn't have to be. Nobody's going to know anything other than what you show them. So as long as it doesn't look like complete junk, you can have small imperfections and most people are not going to see them. All right, so now we're going in with the Coal Black again. And I am a firm believer that it's okay to leave your molds for a few minutes, your castings, and let them kind of crust over on the top so that you don't damage them with your brush. But guys, don't let these molds dry completely. I will tell you from experience, they shrink so bad if there's no paint on them. I have left them overnight and I've just been like, bummer, I should have put something on them. Even if it's just a clear coat, like put something on your mold to prevent it from cracking as it dries. You have such a better outcome if you go ahead and put something on it. Now, I didn't show y'all painting the entire Santa. He doesn't look very, very impressive at this point. We just needed a black layer of paint on him. I don't know why I felt that I needed to take this a little dark and moody, or whatever you want to call it when you use the blacks and the golds. They sell well in my booth typically, and I wanted to use this older transfer tinsel, so it kind of made sense to jump in and use the black and the gold. And you'll see here in a minute, Santa, we ended up doing like that dry brush, bronzy, metallic-y look, and it just looked it's really cool. So it all worked out well. And no, I have not painted that inside rim yet. You'll see me do that here in a minute. I don't want it painted just yet. So I'm kind of measuring out where I want the words. I was really hoping to get Christmas kind of top, front, and center kind of thing. Thought that would be cute with Santa's head pressed against it with the word Christmas. Now we're just cutting. I cut just outside of that line just to give myself a little wiggle room in case I made a boo-boo. And I do keep the little scraps, so these little pieces of words will go somewhere, probably into the abyss, and I'll never see them again. But I do attempt to try and use my scraps. Maybe one day I'll just do a project with nothing but just like little bits and pieces of scraps pieced together. Okay, so now we're piecing this on. Remember, we've got the arch on the oval traced onto the black, and then we also traced the oval onto the gold. So we have a good idea of where this is all going, just to make it a little easier. So you don't have to waste the entire sheet. And guys, this transfer, or this gilded transfer, you guys know I've had opinions in the past about the older gilded. These newer ones are rubbing onto my projects so simple. I think I had one or two little part that didn't transfer well on this one, and you just lay it back down, rub over it. I have learned, number one, to kind of ride that little ripple, like where I'm pulling it up, you want to press right against it. We're going to use Golden Ticket to continue painting. That's the DIY liquid patina Golden Ticket. But anyways, the transfers, if you kind of ride the part where you're lifting it up, it helps to transfer it down a little easier, and you do not want to push hard with these gilded transfers. I ended up with like a couple of, well, not a couple, there was quite a few little specks around the words. I don't mind it. I actually like the way it looks. So it doesn't bother me to do that. If it bothers you, then maybe don't even rub as hard as I was rubbing, and I wasn't rubbing hard. Okay, so now we're going to dry brush over the trim, because the reality is you don't even see it's there, right? It's like disappeared. Now we're going to put that Golden Ticket on top of it, and it's going to bring it all back to life. Y'all see I've got a wet wipe sitting right there, one of my water wipes that I love, and I'm just putting a little on the brush and putting it on there. Okay, now Santa, he's amazing. How in the world the sisters get the amount of detail into their molds as they do never ceases to amaze me. They're gorgeous. Okay, his beard. See how much his beard has come to life? You guys wait. His face is fixing to jump out at you too. And he's still so hidden. Look, 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 look. He's gorgeous. He has perfect cheeks, and his beard is perfect, and his hat is perfect. He's gorgeous. Putting a clear coat over the bottom transfer. All right, let's glue down the trim with the border edge around it. Make sure you put plenty on there. Truth be told, I probably could put some on the black and then stick it on. Isn't he pretty? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Look at the detail. Okay, that's trimmings 1. You guys know we have trimmings 1, 2, 3, and 4 now. That one's from 1. Look at the Golden Ticket on that inside ring. Beautiful. Look at the words, and look at Santa. He's amazing. Love him. Such a pretty craft. Would you guys have done the transfer behind Santa, or would you have left it black? Because I went back and forth, and I was a little stumped, honestly, because I just wasn't sure. All right, so DIY Dark and Decrepit liquid patina. This is a sealer and like a stain. Y'all know I don't like orange wood. That cutting board's got some orange to it, so we're going to tone it down. I wanted it to be more brown. Liquid patina is perfect for painting over virtually any color wood and having it come out almost the same tone every time. Now we're going to dry brush, basically, raw silk from Fusion. Love raw silk. This is a very good, basic, what's the word? One of the ones you want, a staple. My brain. It's a staple. You have to have raw silk. If you're going to do any kind of crafting, you need raw silk. It's like the perfect cream with the perfect amount of off-white, not a ton of yellow. It's perfect. Now I was using a sander there just to kind of smooth it all down because I'd kind of done some chunky strokes. That is Emboss. Hang on a second, guys. I've got notes. It's called Embossing ink and Wow Metallic Gold Embossing Powder. And I'm putting that on an IOD stamp pad. And I did speed this up a lot because you guys, you know how to load a stamp pad. But I wanted you to see how I was doing this because it was coming out kind of thick. And I was a little nervous about just letting it soak in. So I did go back and use a spatula and kind of rub it into the pad. And I'll let you know, we're going to do this again in the future because you'll see here shortly. Y'all know I don't hide my boo-boos. This one didn't turn out the way I hoped it did, or I hoped it would. Made a slight mistake. We'll explain here shortly. But I want to see if that pad stays wet the next time we go to use it. So I don't know if we're going to have to reload it or not. But now we're going to prep the Christmas Post stamp. Rub this down really well with a 220 and then wipe it off. That was a water wipe I was using. Okay, so that Santa with the reindeer where he's arched, the beautiful Santa that the sisters came up with. It's just like arched across. I want him at the top, like he's flying through the night sky, if that makes sense. It'll make sense here in a minute. You'll see. Okay, there's my little hockey puck thing that I love with the felt on it. All this is going to be linked in the description box below too. So you'll see all of the utensils, all of the things that I'm using. Okay, can't see a thing, right? Now we're going to use the embossing powder. And that is the Wow brand metallic gold embossing powder. And I'm just sprinkling it over the wet Santa. I can see it. You can see it when you're looking at it. Okay, how cute is that, right? So cute. You can see the reindeer, Santa, he's got his little whip. He's telling him to go. Let's fly through the night air kind of thing. All right. I did this over like a plastic cutting board thing. That came from Dollar Tree. So pick one of those up. They're perfect. Oh, Lordy, my dogs are barking. Hopefully y'all can't hear it. Okay. So put all that back in the container. Guys, I'm trying to keep it clean, right? I'm a clean crafter. This is a little comparison. Use the hairdryer first. It's on hot, holding it. Nothing's happening. I was like, okay, maybe I did something wrong. Maybe this doesn't work. It's two different brands of stuff. The heat's on. Nope, it takes a heat gun. So if you're going to do this, you're going to need a heat gun. Be sure you pick one up, even if it's just one of the smaller $10 ones, $20 ones, whatever they are. This one's from Harbor Freight. I love it too. Look how shiny it is. It's like gold ink. IOD, there's the mess up. Did you see it? Did you see me run my hand through the wet embossing stuff? Guys, I tell y'all all the time I use my hands for projects. Why did I stick my hand in it? Now you're seeing my hair. Thank goodness I dyed it last week so it's not gray. Wiping my embossing stuff back off my stamp. So angry with myself for doing this. I did speed this up because I was like, I need y'all to see that I screwed up, but I don't want to take a lot of time showing you how I fixed it because I'm literally repeating. But now look, our reindeer doesn't look as good. He's kind of, I don't know, he's just not as defined as he was earlier. It looks kind of like a blob. I didn't love it. And then I was like, I'm not doing this twice. I'm putting clear matte cover over it to make sure I don't screw it up. I had to seal it in. I was so concerned. Plus, I was a little nervous about how, because we're fixing to put a transfer over this, I didn't know how a transfer would work over the top of the embossing stuff. It kind of peeled up. I probably should have left it sit longer, but it wasn't bad. Like a little piece of the transfer tried to come up and I just took my finger and kind of rolled it off and it was just perfect. All right, so Winter Botanist. Love this one. I love all of this stuff this year, guys. When the sisters showed us Stockist, the Christmas release or the winter release, I literally had tears in my eyes because I felt like last year's was pretty, but it just kind of left. It just wasn't as wonderful as I'd hoped it would be. I fell in love with IOD several years ago with their winter release. And they have like a standard in the business of putting out these beautiful products. And last year I just was like, I mean, they're pretty, but they just weren't as pretty as the ones I'd seen in the past. So I'm super thrilled this year with this year's release. Seriously, if your stockist is tearing up when we're seeing these, you guys need to have them. Like, you need all of them. Save up, ask for gift cards, whatever you need to do on Etsy or on my site. That's my husband's head, guys. I was like, I'm so mad I messed up my reindeer. So I'm like showing him how I screwed it up. I left this in there because I thought it was kind of funny. He does check on me. He saw I was upset. He knew I was tired from coming in after driving for 5 or 6 hours with a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old. And it just was a long day. And I was trying to knock this out. And he was like, are you okay? And I said, I think I screwed up my craft. It looks terrible. I don't know if I can include this on YouTube or not. And then I was like, no, I am, because you guys need to know that content creators on YouTube are not perfect. We make mistakes. We have accidents. Sometimes they're happy accidents. Sometimes, like this, it's an accident that I see it, I hate it, I hate that it happened. I don't think it looks terrible. It just doesn't look as good as it looked before. So I'm going to attempt this again. You guys will see me do this again because I don't like to make mistakes and I don't like boo-boos and I don't like failures. So I will do this again just to prove that I can do it and do it well. Now, we're using Figgy and Flourish, which is a super cute transfer. The little graphics I pulled out are super cute. But looking at this now, I wish I'd left it alone. I know that sounds bad, but I wish I'd left it alone. I kind of looked at it at the moment and I was like, it kind of looks unbalanced. It looks like it needs something on each side. But now looking at it in video, bird's eye view type situation, like you guys get to see it, I think that looks pretty. And I should have left it alone. But I didn't. So I need your opinion. Would you have left it alone? Would you have added anything else to this? Does it look out of balance? Because again, looking from the counter, sitting at the kitchen counter, I have this enormous bar in our kitchen that I craft at. It's like 8 foot by 10 foot. So I take one end of it and craft for you guys. Lights set up and everything. My family loves it. But would you have put these little flourishes on there? Because now that I see it, I don't think I needed it. I think it looked fine without it. I think Santa through the sky, the tree, there is some there's some typography behind the tree. It's kind of hard to see. It looks like more branches in the photo or in the video, but you'll see it when it's close up. I don't think I needed it. I think I could have left it alone. So give me your opinion below. Leave me a comment. Would you have left it? Or do you think that the flourishes are okay? What do you think? Now that you're seeing the finished product, it's pretty. I did seal it all in after I got done. You guys know your transfers have to be sealed with, like I used Fusion Matte Tough Coat. But what would you have done? Would you have put the flourishes on? Or would you have left them off? And that does say Season's Greetings at the bottom. It's a super pretty little transfer, guys. So thank you so much for being here today. Be sure and like, comment, share the video out. You guys know the release is a big deal. Subscribe if you haven't already. It's free and it helps the channel grow so that I have an incentive to do a little bit more content for you guys. So see you next week, guys. Bye.